Holding point runway 24 via Zulu, Tango Alpha Ryder 2248.
RIR 2248, 2248, contact tower on 134.56. Take care.
134.56, Ryder 2248, bye bye. Ground Ryder 2248, Boeing 738, stand 19, radio check.
Alright guys, good afternoon. Let's have a smooth flight today. Cabin crew, prepare cabin for boarding, please.
Okay, Captain, preparing the cabin for boarding. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now preparing the cabin for boarding. Please have your boarding passes ready. Thank you for your cooperation.
Flight checklist, engine master switches, off and off, engine mode selector, normal, weather radar off, predictive wind zero off, GCS set to auto, landing gear lever down, wipers off and off, battery 1 and 2 above 25.5 volts, battery 1 on, battery 2 on, external power available, on. Okay, our bird is ready. Lisa, we can start boarding now. APU fire test. Check.
Okay, Captain, we can start boarding now.
All aircraft be advised, information Victor is now current, QNH 1018.
We can recall normal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning the boarding process for flight 680 to our destination. Please have your boarding passes ready and proceed to the gate. Thank you for your cooperation.
Quantity checked. Spoilers disarmed and retracted. Flaps lever retracted. Parking brake on. Accumulator and brakes pressure checked. Cockpit preparation. Crew supply on, ground control on, evacuation captain's repair switch set to captains, radiation 1 nav, 3 nav, 2 nav, strobe lights auto, nav and local lights on, wind lights on, no smoking signs auto, emergency exit lights armed, cabin pressure level elevation auto, probe window heat auto, air condition as required, Engine 1 and 2 fire test. Engine 1 fire test. Checked. Engine 2 fire test. Checked. ISIS panel set QNH set, anti-skid on. Copy preparation checklist completed. Let's prepare our flight. Okay, navigation database active.
Numbers A320 stand 18. Information Delta. Request clearance IFR destination London AGKK Air France 1123.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
Air France 1123. Initial climb to 6,000 feet. Departure runway 24. Departure on 1190.01. Squawk 5242 Air France 1123.
Air France 1123. Read back correct.
I'll switch to the 80s frequency.
ITY altitude 1,700 feet. Transition level 55. Arriving and departing runways 06, 30. Advise on initial contact you have information Victor. Václav Havel Airport, information Victor. 1,530 Zulu. Line 335 at 7. Kavik. Temperature 18. Dew point 2. QNH 1018. Density altitude 1,700 feet. Transition level 55. Arriving and departing runways 06, 30. Advise on initial contact you have information Victor. Václav Havel Airport, information Victor. 1,500.
Okay, I'll switch to clearance. Václav Havel clearance delivery, good afternoon, do you copy?
Aegean Airline 680, Ruzine clearance, good evening. I copy you.
Okay, sir, we're ready to copy IFR to Kopenhagen with information Victor.
I'll grab that clearance. Give me just a minute.
Take your time, sir.
Aegean 680, information Victor is correct. Cleared to Copenhagen via the Vino 5 November departure runway 30. Initial climb to 5,000 feet. Departure on 119er, decimal 01, squawk 6251.
Cruising delivery, hello, Eurowings 1123, stand Bravo 16, information Mike, ready to copy clearance to Budapest.
1 second while I grab the paperwork.
Aegean 680 is cleared via the Vino 5 November departure, departing runway 30, initial climb to 5,000 feet, departing frequency 119.01, squawk 6251, Aegean 680.
Aegean 680, read that correct. Ground will be on 121.901.
Ground on 121.901. Good day, sir. Thank you. Okay, let's prepare our flight plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Aegean's flight 680, departing from Prague and heading to Copenhagen. We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, please feel free to reach out to our friendly crew members, including myself, Lisa, and my colleagues, Sarah, Mike, and John. Thank you for choosing Aegeans, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
Arriving at Copenhagen. Okay, we will arrive at runway 22 left. I'll check my charts, Brian, for our arrival. Okay, we will use an ILS runway 22 left approach via the Adobe transition. Star is Mona for Charlie via Adobe. Okay, flight plan is ready.
Smart Wings 123 Alpha Zulu, cruising ground. Good to see you again, Tobruk.
Okay, everyone is on board. Check out performance. Flaps 1. KV1 is 148 knots. Okay, cloudy weather in Copenhagen. Decision altitude for ILS runway 22 left approach in Copenhagen is 208 feet according to my charts. Our flight plan is ready. Then we are ready to go. Brian, can you please brief me for departure? Cockpit preparation continue. Fuel pumps.
We'll be departing from runway 30, flying the Vino 5 November departure. Initial climb altitude 5,000 feet. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Weather shows no significant issues. In case of engine failure below 400 feet, we'll continue straight. Above 400 feet, follow engine out SID. Climb altitude 3,000 feet before turning back. Abnormalities before V1, reject takeoff, max braking. After V1, continue takeoff, handle emergency, communicate with ATC. Cleared as filed, squawk 6,251. Departure frequency 119.01, flaps 5 for takeoff. V1 is 142 knots, VAR 147 knots, V2 152 knots. Climb altitude out at V2 plus 10 knots. Ready to go, Stelios.
Thank you, Brian. Doors closed. Cockpit door locked. X panel and MCP. Initial climb to 5,000 feet set. Oxygen mask test. Test checked. APU master switch on and start. APU available. Okay, come. Fuel page checked. Before start checklist, external power.
Right Alpha Romeo Delta Alpha, stand 7-4. We have information X-ray requesting engine start.
APU bleed.
Mike
on.
Delta Alpha, engine start approved. Advise ready to taxi.
Lights on.
Approve, will go Mike Delta Alpha.
Transponder code.
Please book this taxi on main and 666.
6251. Set to auto. Parking brake
Ladies and
is
gentlemen,
set.
welcome aboard Aegean's Flight 680, departing from Prague and heading to Copenhagen. We are delighted to have you with us today. Our captain, Stelios, and our first officer, Brian, are in command of the flight. Joining me in the cabin are my wonderful colleagues, Sarah, Mike, and John. We expect a flight time of approximately 1 hour. Before we take off, I would like to go over some important safety information. Please ensure your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To unfasten, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the panel above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put your own mask on before assisting others.
Prague ground, Aegean 680 at gate 31, ready for push and start.
Pull the vest out, place it over your head, and pull the straps to tighten. Inflate the vest by pulling the red tabs or by blowing into the tubes. There are 2 emergency exits located at the front.
Aegean Airlines 680, Racine ground, push and start approved, face northwest.
Push and start approved, facing northwest, Aegean 680.
1,000 feet. And the weather in Copenhagen is currently 10 degrees Celsius with scattered clouds. After our meal service, we will also be offering items from the Aegean's shop. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy your flight with us today.
Ground crew, good afternoon. This is the flight deck of Aegean 680 at gate 31, ready for pushback facing northeast.
Ground to cockpit, tug is on its way. Stand by for connection.
Standing by. Ground crew, we're ready for pushback.
Ground to cockpit. All right, please release the parking brake, starting pushback.
Parking brake released.
Roger, stand by.
Standing by.
Ground to flight deck. Cleared for engine start in sequence.
Clear for engine start in sequence. Starting engine number 2. Engine mode selector, ignition, starting engine 2. Ground crew correcting, we need northwest facing.
I don't understand.
Engine 2 available, starting engine 1.
Ground to flight deck. Pushback complete. Please ensure parking brakes are set. Standing by for confirmation of good engine start and report when ready for disconnect.
Parking brake set. Okay, ground crew, both engines are available. You can disconnect the tug now. Thanks for your services. Good day. After start checklist, engine mode selector, normal, APU bleed, off, APU master switch, off, anti-ice, not required, spoilers, armed, flaps 1.
Alright, we're disconnecting now. Stand by.
Set to takeoff, rudder trim, reset, pit stream, set to takeoff. After start
Ground to
checklist
flight deck.
completed.
Bypass pin removed. We've disconnected and crew is clear. You're good to go. Have a great flight and see you next time.
Thank you, sir.
The tug is already disconnected.
Lisa, we're ready for taxi.
Okay, Captain, we are ready for taxi.
Raising ground, the Gen 680, ready to taxi AFR to runway 30 with information Victor.
And your seat backs are in the upright position. Thank you for your cooperation.
Taxi checklist, nose lights, set to taxi, and the turn off lights on, wind lights on, chrono
Aegean Airlines
set.
680, Ruzine ground. Taxi to runway 30 via Hotel 1, Lima 1, Lima. Contact tower on 118.11 when ready for departure.
Taxi to runway 30 via Hotel 1, Lima 1, Lima, tower on 118.11 on departure, Gen 680, good day. I'm switching to the new tower frequency and we're ready to go. Okay, taxi checklist. Continue. Parking brake released. Cabin crew advised. Ready for taxi.
Travel 3 Alpha Zulu. Request pushback, please.
Raising ground, there is a car obstructing our way from Lima 1 to Lima. Please ensure that it's removed.
Service Travel 3 Alpha Zulu, pushback approved. Face north. Aegean 680, hold position. I will coordinate to have the obstruction removed. Stand by for further instruction. Attention all aircraft. Information Whiskey is now current. QNH 1018.
Okay, the car has been moved, so we can continue taxi. Aegean 680. Right side clear, left side clear.
680. Contact tower on 118.11, safe flight.
Tower on 118.11, Jet 680, good day. Right, parking brake set. Before takeoff checklist, flight controls, checked, predicted wind shear, on, auto brake, set to maximum, takeoff configuration, normal, for green, terminal only on, weather radar on, transponder on, TCAS, TA array, access required, strobe lights on, landing lights on, nose lights set to takeoff. Before takeoff checklist completed. Resident Tower, Jet 680, holding short of runway 30, ready for departure.
Aegean Airlines at 680, Resine Tower, runway 30, winds 335 at 10, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 30, Aegean 680. Cabin crew is for takeoff.
Okay, Captain, cabin crew, take seats for departure.
Brian, take over communications, please.
I'll handle the communications from here, Stelios.
Okay, engines stabilize at 50%, translevers flex, man flex 68, SRS runway, auto thrust checked. Thrust set. Pilot 1 engaged.
Aegean 680, contact departure on 119.01.
Thrust leaders climb.
Air France 16 Delta Juliet, welcome to Ruzine. Contact ground on 121.901.
Switching to departure on 119.01. Aegean Airlines 680. Departure, Aegean Airlines 680 evening, climbing past 3,000.
Aegean Airlines 680, Ruzine departure identified.
After takeoff checklist, and gear lever up. Pilot 1 engaged, thrust reverse climb, packs on, anti-ice not required. Climb checklist, protocol is
Aegean Airlines 680, Ruzine departure, climb flight level 220.
Spoilers.
Climb flight level 220, Aegean Airlines 680.
Runway terminal flights off, nose lights off. Transition altitude, flight level 220 as instructed, set. Position level, QNH set to start up. Flight checklist complete.
Aegean 680, contact Copenhagen approach on 118.455 button.
Switching to 118.455, it's at 680. Kobenhavn approach, GN680 at flight level 150, descending to flight level 060 with you.
Airline 680, Copenhagen approach, identified. Good evening. Expect the ILS runway 22 left approach into Kastrup.
Expecting the ILS runway 22 left approach to Kopenhagen, GN680.
Copenhagen departure, easy 1123, climbing flight level 5,000 feet. Clear direct CH815, easy
1123. Climb flight level 220.
10,000 feet checklist, landing lights
Climb
on,
flight level
signal
220,
signs
easy 112.
on, edge control panel, LS on, on, that is GPS and high, check.
Captain, cabin is ready.
Thank you, Lisa.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our final approach into Copenhagen. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Ensure your tray tables are put away, your seats are in their full upright position, and your seat belts are fastened. Our Aegean staff on the ground will provide you with information regarding your connecting flights. Thank you for your cooperation. You're welcome, Captain.
descend altitude 3000, turn right, heading 050 vectors for the ILS runway, 22 left approach.
Descending to 3000 feet, turning left to 050 degrees, vectors for ILS runway 22 left approach, G680.
Turn left heading 015.
Red nose 962, contact Castrop Tower on 118.105.
Left 015, Gen 680.
Red nose 962, QNH 1022.
118.105. Red nose 962.
Transition.
680, 7 miles from CH2LF. Turn left, heading 280. Descend altitude 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway, 22 left approach.
Turning left to 80 degrees, descending to 2000 feet until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 22 left approach, G680. Activated. Approach mode on. Localize and flash loop. Localizer established.
2,500.
Flaps 1. Flaps 2. Localizer established, flies look blue.
G680, contact Castrop Tower on 121.83. Scandinavian 157, climb flight level 290.
Climb flight level
290.
Engage.
Scandinavian 157.
Castrop Tower on 121.83, G680. Castrap Tower, Aegean 680 on final approach course for ILS runway 22 left approach. Glide slope captured. Landing gear down.
Aegean Airlines 680, Castrop Tower, winds 160 at Niner. Runway 22 left, cleared to land, caution bird activity.
Clear to land, runway 22 left, Aegean 680. Flaps 3. Spoilers are. Runway turn off, lights on. Nose lights set to take off. Try and take over communications and watch out, there is birds activity in the vicinity. Flaps full. Landing configuration normal.
Understood, Stelios. I'll handle the comms from now on and keep an eye out for the birds.
Cabin crews is for landing.
Okay, Captain. Cabin crew, take seats for landing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now preparing for landing. Please ensure your seatbelts are fastened and your seat backs are in the upright position. Thank you for your cooperation.
Scandinavian 1871, contact ground on 121.905.
121.905, Scandinavian 1871.
Lufthansa 747, welcome to Kastrup. Contact ground on 121.905.
100 above.
Autopilot disengaged.
Contact ground on 121.905. Lufthansa 747.
100.
Birds.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
Idle.
Retard.
Reverse. Off landing. Reverse idle.
Aegean 680, welcome to Kastrup. Contact ground on 121.905.
Switching to ground on
After landing
121.905.
checklist,
Aegean Airlines
Disarmed
680.
and retracted. Landing lights off. Strobe lights off. Nose lights set to taxi. Move the radar.
Kastrup ground, Aegean Airlines 680, cleared of runway 22 left, ready to taxi to the gate. Good evening.
Flaps retracted. TCAS.
Aegean Airlines 680, Kastrup ground, taxi to C35 via Bravo 5, Bravo, cross runway 12, then Romeo. Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at Copenhagen Kastrup Airport. What a smooth landing that was. I'd rate it an 8 out of 10, thanks to our Captain
Taxi to
Stelios
Charlie
and
35
first
via Bravo
officer
5
Ryan.
Bravo, cross runway
Local
12,
time
then
here
Romeo.
is 7:22
Aegean Airlines
p.m.
680.
The weather is currently 10 degrees Celsius.
Kastrup ground, Aegean 680, requesting progressive taxi instructions, please.
Beautiful canals, and is often referred to as the Venice of the North. officer and the entire crew. We wish you a
Aegean
pleasant
680,
stay in
turning on
Copenhagen.
taxi path for you. Taxi to S2 via Bravo 5 Bravo, cross runway 12, then Romeo Whiskey Tango. Good day.
Taxi to S2 via Bravo 5. Bravo, cross runway 12, then Romeo Whiskey Tango. Aegean Airlines 680.
Ground, Skyways 148. Gate, Fox 39. Airbus 320. Request IFR to Vienna with information Romeo.
Ground Aegean 680 requesting permission to cross runway 12.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
Clear to Vienna by the CIM 8 Alpha departure. Departure runway 04 right. Initial climb 4000. Departure on 120.255. Squawk 3241. Skyways 148.
Aegean 680, cross runway 12 approved.
Crossing runway 12, Aegean 680.
Attention all aircraft, information Quebec is now current. QNH 1023.
Castrop ground, EC1123, request push and start.
SE1123, push and start approved. Face southeast.
Push and start approved, face southeast, EC1123.
Longest taxi I've ever done. Parking brake on, chrono stop, become wheel temperature checked, brake pad not required, runway turn off, lights off, nose lights off, brake on, engine 1 off, engine 2 off, beacon lights off, seatbelt signs off, fuel pumps off, transponder.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now parked at the gate here at Copenhagen Kastrup Airport. On behalf of Captain Stelios, First Officer Brian, and the entire crew, we thank you for flying with Aegeans today. We hope you have a wonderful stay here in Copenhagen or a safe journey to your next destination. Please remember to take all your belongings with you as you disembark. Goodbye and take care.
APU bleed off, APU master switch off. Lisa, you can start deboarding now.
Kastrup Ground, Air France 453, we are ready to taxi.
Kastrup Ground, Copenhagen 430, request taxi.
Scandinavian 541, can you hand me over to tower, please? We are ready at 2 to right.
Okay, everyone has deboarded. Lisa, secure the cabin and let's go, please. Securing the aircraft, crew supply off, Adios 1.
Okay,
off,
Captain, securing the cabin now.
Off, 3 off, nav and logo lights
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our final parking position. Captain Stelios and the cabin crew are now saying goodbye. We wish you a nice stay here in Copenhagen or safe ongoing travel.
Head over to tower.
External power off.
Eurowings 211 contact tower on 118.105.
Battery 2
118.105.